Welcome to the More Than Fitness podcast.
And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Minisode number 39 on the More Than Fitness podcast. And today we are talking about a subject that has a special place in my heart, as many of you know. And I'm sure just because of that fact, I'm going to attract a lot of people like you guys in my audience that also has a love for alcohol, right? And so today's minisode is going to be how to get drunk but not fat. A guide to alcohol, right? So there's quite a bit that I'm trying to jam pack into here. So I'm going to keep this quick, but I've also, just as a quick disclaimer, I've already done multiple podcasts today. So my voice is a little scratchy, and real quick, I'm going to take a little sippy sip here of water, and then we are going to dive face first into alcohol. Okay. Okay, first thing with alcohol is alcohol does contain calories. A lot of people don't realize this, but alcohol contains 7 calories per gram. It actually is a macronutrient. At least that's what some people will classify it as. And so it does have 7 calories per gram, whereas protein and carbs has 4 calories per gram, and then fat has 9 calories per gram. So if you do drink too much alcohol, you can gain fat, just like overeating calories from any other foods, right? So it's not that the alcohol is inherently fattening, and as soon as you drink alcohol, all of those calories are going to go straight to fat. It's just like anything else, and it does have 7 calories per gram. They aren't inherently fattening, but they can also lead to overeating, which we'll talk about in just a second. But I just wanted to make sure that we get that out of the way. Let me scan real quick. Let me make sure. Yeah, I'm going to talk about as far as specific drinks here in just a second. So alcohol contains calories, 7 calories per gram. But the body also, what's interesting about alcohol is the body sees it as a toxin, right? And so it's trying to, as soon as you're ingesting it, it's trying to get rid of it immediately. That's how it goes. But so it'll immediately try to metabolize the alcohol first before it metabolizes anything else that's in your stomach, prior to or after drinking the alcohol in the first place. But this is why it's very, very important to make sure that you monitor or keep in check the foods that you eat after you drink the alcohol. So like I said, alcohol is not inherently fattening, but the thing that gets most people is the 2 a.m. pizza, right? Or going through the drive-thru and getting fast food or something like that, or coming home and binging on tons of foods that you have in your fridge. So it's the foods that we eat after the alcohol that typically makes us fat, simply from the fact that they're calorie dense and high calories, but also because, again, your body is trying to metabolize the alcohol first before it gets to the other food. So that other food is just kind of sitting around in your stomach waiting to be metabolized, and it's much easier for that food to be converted to fat because it is, again, just hanging around. So that's important to note. Another thing is alcohol can be great at reducing anxiety. That's why a lot of us love it, right? It can make us feel loosey-goosey. It can give us, what is it? Not beer goggles. Whatever. It makes you say fuck it often, right? And that's the reason why a lot of people do enjoy it. But the thing is that the downside of that is that also you don't care about what happens in the future. So whenever you drink alcohol, your inhibitions and your care for what you do as far as what you're doing now, how it affects the future, you don't care as much. And so that's why if you plan on having any discipline whenever you're intoxicated, like after you get home, right? For example, like I just talked about, whenever 2 a.m. rolls around, if you plan on having the willpower to eat a salad instead of going to the drive-thru or ordering a pizza, I think you are going to be sadly mistaken and have multiple failures on your hand. So with that being said, I would say to plan ahead. And I have some quick steps here that I have discussed before on the Instagrams and what I typically do myself and also tell my clients. The best thing, so the first thing that I would do is to pregame before you go out to the bars or something like that. One, to save money, obviously, because drinks can be hella overpriced. So to save money beforehand, drink beforehand, but also to limit unnecessary calories. Because if people are going to buy you shots or something at the bar, you don't want to be that dick that declines the sugary shot, right? But this also allows you to you can control what you're drinking whenever you're at your house or pre-gaming beforehand. As opposed to whenever you're out, somebody buys you a drink, somebody buys you a shot, etc. So make sure that you pregame a little bit to save money and limit unnecessary calories. Next would be to opt for hard liquor and 0-calorie mixers, or just be a badass and drink it straight to maximize drunkenness and to minimize excess calories. This is what I was referring to earlier as far as specific drinks. Like I said, alcohol does contain 7 calories per gram. However, what also happens to shoot people in the foot is whenever they get some vodka and soda, right, or gin and juice, or something like that, where gin and juice, they're going to have another sugary mixer which has lots of calories. So like a screwdriver or something, you have orange juice and vodka together. Well, that's just, it's a double whammy as far as how many calories are in that drink. When instead you could just have like a Diet Coke and some bourbon, and that is again going to maximize your drunkenness for minimum calories. Or you can drink it straight. And a little hat tip to where I got this title, there's actually a cool website called www.getdrunknotfat.com, and it is a pretty great resource as far as if you want to look up how many calories are in certain beers, bourbon, wine, etc., right? Any type of alcohol, it has a full list there that you can kind of do a little homework before you go out. Or if you just want to check up on what your favorite alcohol is and what you can maybe substitute out instead. Okay? Another thing to do is on the day you drink, balance your calories throughout the day by eating high quality protein, some veggies, and some fruit. So basically lower calorie, nutrient dense options so that later on you whenever you're going to go out and you're going to have a bit to drink, you possibly getting dinner beforehand or after or whatever, you're going to have more calories later in the day. So in the beginning of the day, you want to opt for higher protein, higher veggies, higher fruit. So just higher protein and higher nutrient dense foods so that later on you can enjoy yourself and not beat yourself up too much about it, right? So just balance those out. And lastly, win the battle before you leave the house. This is what I was referring to as far as inhibition screwing you over whenever you get home and you're trying to eat a salad instead of some delicious, fast food or something like that. Win the battle before you leave the house. So have a post-drink meal ready upon returning home to avoid late night binges. My go-to is going to be having a deli meat sandwich. So I use honey whole wheat bread. I use turkey or ham or something like that. I have cheese, spinach, tomato, and I have it all pre-prepared. That's a tough one. Pre-prepared in a plastic baggie, along with baked chips, a Powerade Zero, and some fruit, right? So this is actually, it's a pretty delicious meal. You know what I'm saying? Having a sandwich, having some chips, you have Powerade Zero, you have some fruit, all of these things, you get the sweet and salty combination, and you're also eating quite a bit of food, and that's going to appease you whenever you get home. And also you have to make sure that the amount of friction between you getting home, stumbling home from the bar, and then having that meal is basically effortless. Because if there's anything, like if you have to make the entire sandwich whenever you get home, you can go ahead and consider that a loss, because you're not going to do that. most of you are not going to do that, right? If you have to do any type of preparation whenever you get home, that's why I said it's pre-prepared in a plastic baggie, ready to go. I can take it out, and I'm set, right? That's going to be key. Okay, and that's basically my 4-step process on making sure that you are planned ahead so that whenever you get home, you are all set. Let me do a quick look at time. Okay, about 10 minutes. We're solid. I'm almost done here. Yes. Okay, back to a little bit of the sciencey stuff. Alcohol can mess with your appetite hormones a little bit. And so what it can do is it can decrease leptin, which is a satiating hormone, and it can increase ghrelin, which is your hunger hormones. And so if you've ever woken up with a hungover, if you've ever woken up with a hangover and you've had a bunch of cravings for like shitty, greasy, salty foods, this is basically why, because that effect of after you drink alcohol, it goes on for the next day as well. It doesn't just end after you stop drinking, right? But also even whenever you're drinking the alcohol, you can your hunger will be higher, and just your satiation will be much harder to reach. So you're more prone to overeating while you're drinking and also the day after. So that's something that you have to be aware of and be ready for, because the next day, of course, if you wake up and you're just like feeling shitty and you don't feel like getting back on track with your diet, well, that's another time that you're going to shoot yourself in the foot. So be prepared ahead of time for that little secret trap that alcohol has waiting for you whenever you wake up. Also, alcohol doesn't aid muscle building due to reducing muscle protein synthesis rates. So I know you guys are bummed about that and maybe shocked or not at all, because who would have thought that alcohol doesn't aid your muscle building processes? So yeah, bad news. Your muscle protein synthesis rates will be reduced. There you go. And lastly, alcohol in light to moderate doses is associated with longer lifespans. Fun fact. So that's pretty amazing. But a quick note, moderate means 9 units per week for women and 12 to 14 units a week for men, with no single event exceeding 4 units. Okay. Hey, Matt, what's a unit? All right, I'll tell you. A unit is typically 12 ounces of beer, 5 ounces of wine, or 1.5 ounces of basically bourbon or vodka or any type of straight liquor, right? So your typical 12-ounce beer, typical glass of wine, or a shot, that's going to be 1 unit. So no single event exceeding 4 units, and then 9 units per week for women, and then 12 to 14 units a week for men. And so light to moderate doses, that's associated with longer lifespans. So that's what drinking in moderation means, was those limits right there. Oh, okay. And that's probably going to be the most informative podcast or YouTube video that you could ever watch that gets all the facts out there for how to get drunk but not fat, right? This is the type of content you guys come to me for. So, you're welcome. And the only reason I know all of this stuff is because I want to know it more than you guys do, because I like alcohol, but I also like looking hot as fuck. And I know you guys enjoy that as well. So again, you're welcome. That's one way to end things. Okay, and that is it for Minisode number 39 on the More Than Fitness podcast. Thank you, as always, for listening and for watching. See ya.